Come, we're all gonna kiss each other.
Oh.
All right.
My penis.
Nobody has ever said my penis.
Now I think I know what's going at the top of this episode.
My penis. It feels so good.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast. This is your bi-weekly podcast delivering an episode-by-episode breakdown of the original G1 Transformers series. We'll iron that out over time. This is episode 108. We're covering the Transformers episode number 4, Transport to Oblivion. Originally airing October 6th, 1984. This is your host, Aaron, and I want to take you back to a simpler, more predictable time, a time of milkmen, paperboys, even TV. You see, I was a lonely sports anchor and widower with 3, although you could argue 4 daughters, living in the San Francisco, California area, and I needed a little help with the whole single fatherhood thing, so I recruited my brother-in-law, Caleb, an extremely handsome rock musician, and Ryan, a subpar stand-up comedian, to help me out. Over time, this unique family situation became the cornerstone, the bedrock, if you will, of a stable, wholesome family situation. Wait a minute, I just said this unique family situation became the cornerstone of a stable, wholesome family situation. That's what happens when you write intros really quickly. Time went on. My 2 older daughters got kind of hot. My 2 twin baby daughters started a billion-dollar media empire, and Caleb's wife got caught up in a college admissions bribery scandal. Yes, she did. And Ryan dropped off the face of the fucking planet.
I would argue, looking at us, I'm more John Stamos.
I knew that Ryan would be really mad if I made him
and I'm
the other guy.
You're right. And I'm
the other guy.
No, yeah, broke dick Jeff Daniels.
Why am I blanking on his name? Joey
I am
Blackstone?
too.
Is it Blackstone?
Joey.
Is his character's
Joey
name
Fatone.
Joey?
No.
His character's name was Joey, but I think his name was also Joey.
Oh my god, we have to find out immediately.
Caleb, of course, is on it.
I'm on it.
Have mercy.
His name is Dave Collier.
Dave Coulier. Dave Coulier.
So wrong.
Joey.
Joey Blackstone? I think we went to high school with that guy.
Check it out. He was the voice of Peter Venkman on the cartoon adaptation of Ghostbusters.
Ah, makes sense.
And he was the infant incarnation of Animal and Bunsen on Muppet Babies.
Oh.
So he has done some voice acting.
Those are
work
both great shows.
Yep.
I think he was a voice actor. Obviously, he was a voice actor in his own right, and stand-up comedian in real life, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I never saw any of his stand-up.
Well, I don't recommend
He's
it.
done work on Scooby and Scrappy Doo. He did
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Is
Nickelodeon.
Harry Anderson still alive, or did he?
No, he
He
died.
passed away.
What happened with him?
He died.
He died.
But how?
I think it was a murder-suicide. With Marky Post.
If it was multiple murders, you would be extremely interested.
I would, absolutely. I read the serial killer book by Harold Schechter, which is just kind of a laundry list of a bunch of serial killers. But the Audible narrator keeps pronouncing Ed Gein's name as Ed Gein, and it drove me mad.
Did you write a letter?
I think I tweeted about it.
Did you tweet about it under the Autopod
I don't remember.
Decepticast
I think it was me, and I was under my personal Twitter, and I resisted retweeting it from our podcast Twitter.
Ah, very good. I love it when I have no problem with using the podcast Twitter to tweet out our own individual personal things. I think it makes us more
I feel
relatable, except when he's tweeting serial killer
it's clear,
shit.
But it's clearly like they use the word I. It's clearly.
Well, I've started putting R in like my
Yeah, I
initial.
do like when I've started. If I do something that's personal, I'll put an A in front. I've stolen that from you.
Yeah, I stole it from another podcast that has 2 members.
Oh.
Which I disremember what podcast it was, but I tweeted at them, I'm definitely stealing this to do on our podcast.
Yeah.
Twitter.
Speaking of Twitter, I had a lot of fun putting together that random Twitter post. It would have been better to be. Maybe I'll relaunch it on April 20th. But the stoner,
weed? Yeah.
The premise put out on Twitter, it was what Transformers are most likely to be the stoners, Cyberstonians, if you will.
Clever wordplay.
And overwhelmingly people said Beachcomber.
Absolutely.
Which is the right answer,
Yeah.
of course. It also Warpath was thrown
That's a
out
weird
there.
choice.
I could see it. He's a little zany.
I don't know. Like Warpath just seems to me like he would come back like the Deer Hunter.
I think Warpath is like he's smoking that Sherm. You know, he's maybe that a little weed with some
Sherman
of that,
Helmsley?
with some some Sherman Helmsley with some angel dust on it or something.
I
like
think
that.
I think Perceptor microdoses.
He probably does.
CBDB oil.
CBDB.
Is that not the
No,
term?
it's not
I
it.
think it's just CBD oil.
CBDB is a-
CBGB oil.
CBDB.
Yes. I'm linked in to
Ryan
what the
doesn't
kids are doing.
understand.
CBGB oil is just Joey Ramone's sweat.
Yeah.
Put it on
Is
your
this
tongue.
music?
All right, and what else is going on here? We're talking about.
Hey.
It's really nice if I'm not prepared at all.
Our Patreon may or may not be up.
Here, hey, if we've done any work to establish and promote our Patreon, we're going to talk about it right here.
Dateline. Transformers. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. The Autopod Decepticast has news. Let's go to press. Hey, all you hepcats and kittens out there in Radioland. Everybody's third favorite co-host, Ryan, here to let you know, yes, we do have a Patreon. It is up and running at patreon.com/apoddcast, the same as our handle on all the things. All of our episodes will always be free of charge, but your support means that we can purchase better equipment, which is in need, create more bonus content and merch, and maybe even come to some more cons, which we would love to do. Plus, we'll get to interact with you guys on a whole new level. There are a few different tiers and reward levels up there, so even if you don't want to give, please go check it out. Aaron spent a heroically long amount of time making our page look fucking awesome. Patreon.com/apoddcast. Always, 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 our sincerest thanks to all of our listeners. We love you guys. You are the fucking cat's pajamas. All right, let's get back to the show. Patreon.com/apoddcast.
All right, well, why don't we just get into the last episode recap here? So, here's the deal. We're going to recapping the last 3 episodes. Transformers came to Earth on accident. Despite the Autobots' best efforts, the Decepticons stole as much energy as they needed to power their shuttle and rule the universe. A Hail Mary play by Autobot Mirage kept the Decepticons from leaving Earth and caused the Decepticon ship to crash into the ocean, and according to Optimus Prime, clearing the path for the Autobots to return to Cybertron. The Illuminati revealed and established itself. Earth became unified under a one-world government led by former U.S. President and Freemason Barack Obama. After taking away everyone's guns, the government elected to distribute all its resources to their heroic Autobots to help them return to Cybertron. Before leaving, Humans, Spike Witwicky, he finished his Pulitzer-winning memoir titled Color Me Impressed. His father, also ticketed for the journey, turned in his 2-week notice at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, which he also worked at. And they, went to Cybertron.
I like your extended universe novelization of what happened on the outside of what we saw. I also like the idea that every time we do an episode, you're going to catch us up from episode 1 all the way to now.
No, I don't plan to do that. I did all of that really just to say that this episode, as it kicks off, just basically forgets everything that happens at the end of More Than Meets the Eye.
They just dump dump all that.
They dump all that, and the Autobots are just hanging out. And that's where this really opens up. Transport to Oblivion.
And we have dumped that annex. The shed is now gone. I don't know if it was cannibalized to make the ship that never is addressed again, but...
Yeah, instead of the tool shed out back, there's just this strange rocky landscape, and at the tip top of it is a rock formation that looks exactly like Starscream.
We could just go immediately off the rails because presumably Cliffjumper has seen this rock outcropping every day of his life on Earth.
Yeah, exactly. So we open up. We've got Optimus Prime, which, by the way, I didn't realize how soon they cleaned up the animation models in between More Than Meets the Eye and this one. He looks more or less the way he looks in Transformers the movie at this point. I thought there was it wasn't probably till season 2 where they had some.
In the last episode, his grill is a lot more rounded and there's a lot more like just random.
Yeah. So anyway, Prime looks great. He's hanging out with Ironhide. They're smoking some weed out in front of the base. Cliffjumper appears. He sees that rock formation and just like comes out blazing. By the way, that's Jazz's gun.
It is Jazz's gun. I'm also looking at Cliffjumper, and that little like spoiler thing he has means he just can't look at his dick.
No, he can't look down below at all.
But he could put his beverages on that.
Yeah,
it's true.
Kind of like have a curly straw go into his mouth. So he fires at this rock formation that's right above Ironhide and Optimus Prime's head, destroying it and just knocking rocks and boulders on top of Optimus Prime and Ironhead. Ironhead. Better name.
Yes, I agree.
The Decepticons are gone for good, right, Optimus?
So, Prime has lost a little bit of the short-sighted optimism that he's displayed the last few episodes. and he walks to some fucking cliff to stare down at the ocean in ponderous mystery. I wish I could believe that, Ironhide.
This is crazy because there's certainly no way to be sure, like going down there to look.
I mean, send Hound. We know he's got that face mask.
Yeah.
He's equipped for this journey.
We might never know. We'll never know, maybe.
You can. This is the only time that Mount Hillary is shown to be coastal.
Yeah. Prime looks down into the ocean. The camera pans into the ocean, into the depths, and it turns out that Optimus Prime was right to be worried because all those Decepticons are fucking alive. And not only are they alive, they've been at work.
They're thriving.
They are doing what Decepticons do, which is have a goal and move towards the finish line.
How was Cybertron not conquered immediately?
It doesn't. There must. They talk about the Autobots are almost extinct. The only thing I could imagine is that there were a lot more Autobots than there were Decepticons. Megatron alive and well, and so is his team. We then transition to Cybertron,
Caleb,
and we hear the spooky space music. And Shockwave
what's he shooting
is on a pedestal in gun mode, just firing away.
Also not great because of what he just says in a second of they're almost out of energy.
He bitches about being low on power, and he tries, perhaps for the first time in 4 million years, to connect with Megatron.
I love the way he walks over to the panel.
He's very tired.
I wrote down, he walks like I do when I get out of bed in the morning. This is arms down.
Must try to communicate with Megatron. Is there any hope? Megatron! Planet Cybertron to Megatron! Are you there, Megatron? It can't be! Shockwave, Guardian of Cybertron! Megatron, leader of the Decepticons!
He just perpetually looks depressed.
It is also
he's low on energy.
See, you said, Aaron, that maybe this is the first time he's calling, but I like to think he does this every day.
For 4 million.
All right, I'll try Megatron one more time. It also seems like, not for nothing, but Cybertron has fared pretty well energy-wise, because it's been 4 million years.
Yeah, and it's still around.
Shockwave is
and Wheeljack was talking about how they were almost out of energy before.
And Shockwave has enough energy to just blast off into the ground for no reason.
Yes.
Something tells me that he had to have a very specific
Also-
reason to do that. What that is, I don't know, but I don't think
Oh,
he was,
let's add that to some fan fiction.
Yeah, what was he shooting at?
Is that you're saying that's Decepticon masturbation?
Oh,
No,
I am
no,
now.
I wasn't going sexual with it at all.
I am
Of course
saying
you-
that
of
now.
course
You're
you
Now,
was.
welcome, Ryan.
now I'm fully erect.
you
Threw
would.
that one into the air for you.
Well, it's also like, okay, a couple of things. They're low on Energon, and Shockwave is visibly has got out of bed posture.
Yeah.
But they have the resources to power an intergalactic bridge, which I assume is just the screenwriter.
Well, they've
not-
just been building.
They
it.
have to. He's true, but don't they have to put energy through it?
I feel
somehow?
like, well, maybe we'll get to this. I feel like the Decepticons on Earth are the ones that have to power it.
yeah,
Shockwave
But
just-
no,
Shockwave
because it
built
activates automatically.
there's power involved with this.
There is
They
power
have to
involved,
supply
but
from
still
Earth.
limited. They've got to put their
Well, maybe.
resources into the projects
My-
that are most important.
That's a problem, but my main issue is I just don't think the writers understand what intergalactic means. Because that means they're not in the Milky
Oh, no.
Way.
Oh, right.
They should
Yeah,
just
that's
call
true.
it the
Stellar.
interstellar.
But not even that, because Cybertron is in the solar system.
Well, I don't know that they've
Theoretically.
established that yet.
They haven't. They
It
haven't. It's
has
true.
to
But,
be, but-
at least it should be interstellar. I mean, Star Trek doesn't even go outside the galaxy. They don't even cover half the galaxy until Voyager.
Yeah.
Well, these things have been sentient for 4 million years plus. Who's to say they don't have the ability to go intergalactic, planetary?
I just want to.
They're really advanced in some ways and really garbage in others.
Dumb nuts.
I just want to say I'm just really glad to see Shockwave. I think he's done a great job holding the planet
He
down.
has.
Mhm.
He really has.
I mean, I guess there's
Yeah.
been no Autobot resistance since those two ships left, right?
Or little. I
Very
mean,
little.
In the books, Blaster's up there.
I mean, he's got a sweet pad.
Does he?
Shockwave, yeah. It's
Yeah.
not open
It
floor
seems like,
plan.
but also it's open to a bunch of Autobots running into it in later episodes.
Well, true. I thought they were gonna. I was waiting for that to happen in this episode. It didn't.
Female
I was
Autobots,
fished-
female
fished in.
Transformers.
Shockwave, Megatron, they're exchanging formalities, but they get straight to the status. As we were saying, Energon is an issue, and while Megatron was sleeping, Shockwave went and built a space bridge.
Yep.
This is very pleasing to Lord Megatron. You know, you can tell he's already got some plans percolating up there in that tea kettle head of his. So now we transition. We got some bros working at a power plant, listening to some hot new tracks on a shiny
This
blue
guy
tape
who
player.
changes races a couple times.
I know, yeah, that was a nice, nice animation mistake there.
Yeah, at 240, the guy when he turns around, he's black, and he turns around to look at
And he's
Soundwave, and he's white,
Caucasian.
and then he turns black again.
One guy bitches to the other to turn down that cockamamie music,
That rock and or roll.
but he can't, and he won't, because that's no ordinary tape player. Huh?
Hey, turn your tape player down, will you? That's not... Huh? What is it?
Laserbeak, prepare for flight. Operation Destruction.
Fire it out everywhere!
Which is ridiculous. Why is Soundwave even there? Why? Because Megatron comes
Well,
in.
especially given that in seconds,
Yes.
so he's going to release his tapes, specifically Laserbeak, but then within seconds, the rest of the Decepticons are just going to
Yep.
bust down the door. That's just all they really needed to do. But this does establish a couple things I wanted to talk about. First of all, the music is that generic, I don't know the name of the song,
No, we can't.
but it's on YouTube.
Is it
Generic
the one
rock disco theme.
from
Yes.
our
Yes.
theme song.
That inspired the APDC theme song. It's my favorite. All the Transformers music is really good, but this is one
Which
of my
our friend
favorite
Caleb
pieces.
helped to put together.
That's right, I did.
Caleb, shout out to Trey George. He doesn't listen to this podcast. He's just a hired gun as far as he's concerned.
He doesn't listen? That motherfucker.
He says he has in the past. So.
Oh! Which means I listened to 45 seconds and was like, this is not for me.
I don't know about that. I don't. Who knows?
But if you do like music and you like indie pop rock, listen to Ski Lift on Spotify. That is our friend Trey George's project, and it's some good shit. I don't know if he has Jesse James Wax Museum was the name of his college project.
That's
and
a good name.
Their album is good, But it's dated in a way. Ski Lift is the hot newness. There you go. That's a shout
Go
out.
check that out.
What were we even fucking talking about? Generic rock disco theme. So I'm wondering, this being the prototype of our own song, why it's never been included on any of the soundtrack. It's not on our soundtrack albums that we bought. I'm wondering if it just wasn't composed. It was Robert J. Walsh and Johnny Douglas that did all that G1 work. I'm just wondering if they didn't compose it and it was like some stock music that was laying around. And
Back in the day, there was just like a lot of throwaway stuff where it didn't occur to people to, that anybody would give a shit about a kid's cartoon. Like, nobody's going to care about this in 40 years.
But soundtrack albums have always been a thing, right? Like how do you pronounce his name? Vangelis and the Blade Runner sound. Like,
Yes.
people care about composed music for movies. I don't know how to say it.
All right. You're right.
It's Vangelis. It wasn't worth.
Well, I said I don't know how to pronounce it, so I was opening it up to the audience to correct me.
Right.
Vangelis now. Vangelis. Vangelis. And I didn't make it right.
Great.
Like I never made a mistake.
Well, you've called it out, and now it's going to be hard to edit that in.
It's going to be easy and perfect. So Soundwave, he releases the tapes. The rest of the Decepticons show up to fill up some Energon cubes, no doubt to compress into pillows soon. I don't know actually what they do. They don't even show it. But
No.
which I can't remember. In More Than Meets the Eye Part 3, did when they went to the rocket fuel place, did they turn those
You never
into
see
Energon
it.
cubes?
You never see it.
Okay. All right.
It happens off camera.
Okay, all right. I was gonna have a problem because it was like they could just steal the rocket fuel and
Well,
use it in their rocket.
also, this is not rocket fuel. This is
This is
solar...
a different thing.
Yeah.
This is a different thing. I'm talking about the end of More.
Oh,
Than
you're talking
Meets
about
the Eye.
rocket.
Yeah.
I was thinking the Burmese crystals also. But we do see them pouring oil into cubes previously, and it becomes Energon, which is...
That's some science, man. It's an ancient race.
I mean, I guess we're not there yet.
We're in jazz.
But, I don't mean to be like this guy, but solar power plants don't have generators. Like, that's not how they work at all.
But it's just go into a battery?
Yeah.
How does it work? I
Yes,
don't
they
know.
just go
I'm
into
ignorant.
batteries. I mean, coal, wind, hydroelectric plants, they do have generators because turbines, make mechanical energy into electrical, but the photonic photonic energy in solar cells just goes straight into a battery. So I understand that for the purposes of this show, they're like, let's do all the energy sources. We'll just treat them all the same.
Right. Yeah. Well, I want to say thank you to our special guest, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Thank you for condescendingly explaining all of that to us.
You dumb.
But you still have a great personality, and we like
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we're at jazz.
I do like when Soundwave makes Energon cubes out of his chest.
No, I think that's a cool thing.
It's neat.
It is. Jazz, Spike, they're hanging out. They're driving around town, listening to the same hot top 40 track that.
So it
Soundwave
is
was
a
playing.
radio station.
Wow, you picked up a great beat on your supercar stereo, Jazz.
You think it, huh, Spike? Well, let me ramp up the decibels for you.
Yeah, get down.
Oh, look out!
No seatbelt. No seatbelt on him.
Nope, not at all. They hit a
Also,
traffic.
he's 14.
That's true. He shouldn't be driving.
Well, he's not, but yeah, if he gets pulled over, it's going to be a problem.
Unless Jazz transforms and shows his ID.
I think that does literally happen in an episode later. Also, there is a store named IOU on this street. They get stuck in a traffic jam because the streetlights are out, which is like, don't you people know that you just treat it like a four-way stop? I guess they don't.
It's Japan. They don't know.
First of all, shots fired at the country of Japan. Hey, World War II was a long time ago. We bombed them nuclearly, and
Twice.
and everybody, and then it's all is forgiven, bro.
They're our allies.
I was just saying they don't understand traffic.
Why do you hate the people of Japan?
I don't hate them at all. I just wish that they would handle their traffic situations a little better.
Have you even been there? Have you even been?
I would love to. That was like whenever. Sorry, Caleb. Whenever I went to New York last year, was it, or 2 years ago? One of the places I toyed with going to was Japan, like Tokyo.
Mhm.
I would love to go there just because I've never been anywhere in Asia,
Yeah.
and that seems like it'd be. I just didn't want to go there by myself, where I'm the only person I know who speaks English.
I'd like the idea of Tokyo. I also really like the idea of Hong Kong.
Yep,
because
me
I
too.
feel like Hong Kong would be a lot of different multicultural stuff.
Wouldn't go there right now.
What's happening?
You mean in 1984?
No, I mean now.
What's happening?
What's happening in Hong Kong?
There's been riots and protests for the past 3 or 4 weeks.
Really?
Hundreds of thousands.
Oh,
of people.
against the Chinese government?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, the traffic jam is the power's out. Traffic jam, Spike, Jazz. Time to head back to Autobot
They
headquarters.
just head back. Yeah.
Check it out. Back at the garage, Optimus Prime is doing a little bit of analysis. What's the deal with the energy situation? He notices that a solar power station is not producing at its intended output. Sends out Teletrans satellite to investigate.
The Sky Spy.
And when this happens, it is revealed that Prime's worst nightmare
Also,
has come true.
Yeah.
Megatron's alive.
yeah, and they show, like, presumably the Sky Spy went into the building and was just, like, right here above Megatron's head and showed him, but yeah.
And Megatron didn't see it.
Nope, he doesn't
swatted
care.
out of the air. Prime calls in the B team. He notes that the cool half of the force is out on patrol, so we're stuck with Ironhide, Ratchet, Prowl, Cliffjumper, Gears, and a late-ass Bumblebee.
You late, Bumblebee.
And they roll out for the power station. You know, a couple things. Great delivery of his Megatron lives. It was pretty heartfelt. Also, Megatron's the whole reason everybody's out on patrol is to discover Decepticon activity. Now that you've discovered it,
It
seems like you'd call them all back and then go focus your efforts.
Again, Autobots,
They don't have radios, first of all.
they're not.
But they do have radios. We saw Sparkplug use one, but
Well, they didn't have humans inside them to use them.
I just don't think they're very bright in general.
They do seem dull.
and also when Bumblebee shows up, he's a little late, and Windcharger's like, "You late."
He gives
again."
him the shit.
And I feel like Bumblebee should just be like, "Go fuck yourself, Windcharger."
Go fuck yourself.
What difference is it? You're not my boss.
You're not the boss of me.
So they roll out. We flash to the Decepticons, and they are milking that solar power
That's right, getting it.
into those sweet Energon cubes. And it's not long before the Autobots just drop
into a skylight.
and just attack. It's crazy.
This cliff jumper bit.
Cliffjumper punches Megatron
In the dick.
in the dick and immediately gets swatted away like the nothing.
It's
that
very
he is.
embarrassing.
There's a nice fight that happens between Optimus Prime and Megatron. They exchange some clever banter. Fusion cannons are fired. Punches are landed. Prime throws Megatron into some kind of live wire wall.
Oh,
Gets
that
electrified.
punch, like you're talking about specifically, that punch that Prime delivers and the way Megatron slams back into that wall, it's almost a one-for-one shot of the way Prime hits Megatron in the movie where
Oh,
his
really?
arm cannon falls off.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it looks
I wonder
almost
if it was
exactly
I
the
wonder
same.
if it was a model. They just
Maybe.
traced it.
They
Put better
you're a
shading over the top.
tracer.
As Megatron gets electrified, that powers him up somehow,
Yeah.
as opposed to killing him.
It's like reversing polarities.
Outside, Ratchet, Prowl, Windcharger, Cliffjumper, they attack the Seekers, but the Seekers manage to kind of break out with the Energon here. We go back inside.
Well, Cliffjumper in the worst way is like, too late, Starscream! And it's like, not, because you got fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember Cliffjumper being this much of a dickhead. But he's...
Maybe he'll evolve as time goes on. He's a hothead. God damn it, we saw him pull out that bazooka out his ass and fire on Megatron again without good planning. He's kind of the worst of the worst.
These and also at this point are the Laserbeak sound effects where he's flying around. They're not there's some places
they're horrifying because
they're not
they're not
electronic.
They don't have a filter put over them. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Does Frank Welker do Laserbeak?
I don't know. I know he does Ravage, but I'm not sure if he does Laserbeak.
Yes.
Is that your answer?
Yes.
It doesn't sound confident.
No, it says here Frank Welker as Megatron, Soundwave, Laserbeak,
Okay.
Charge,
All right.
Mixmaster.
All right, there we go. Okay.
There is also one episode where Frank Welker, they don't put the filter on him doing Soundwave also, and it sounds real fucked up.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's like when you
See your mom naked? Well, she's like got her pussy out.
Oh.
Is it like that? I wasn't thinking about
Is
it.
this the part where we have Ryan tell the story of finding a porno tape in his mom's drawer, and when he pops it in the VHS, it's her?
I did. You know, like you do, you go through your parents' stuff for porn, and I found a videotape that wasn't labeled, and I put it in the VCR, and it was my mother, in some kind of S&M situation with a dude like, oh God, what if she's a murderer? Because he was kind of like tied to a chair, the dude, and I'm like, I only watched it for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not part of this at all.
And that is a true thing that happened.
So Megatron at this point transforms into a gun.
Yes.
For Soundwave to use on Optimus Prime. And Ironhide jumps in the way and is hit squarely in the chest. He has saved their leader, Optimus Prime.
Well, it's kind of a Prussian like getting shot by Megatron. Not so badly. I guess it was a glancing blow. But also, this is 2 episodes in a row where Ironhide gets fucked up.
It's true. Well, I mean, he's impetuous.
He's incorrigible.
The Decepticons then buck out. They've got all the goods they need. The Autobots let them go, and we got to get back to the headquarters and save Ironhide.
Mm-hmm. And this is kind of like where we see the first of what will become the friendship between Spike and Bumblebee.
Mm-hmm. We're back at Autobot headquarters. Under the volcano outside, a sterile environment.
Mm-hmm.
Ratchet and Sparkplug are doing some R&R. That's
R and Ard removed and rebuilt. And that rear end assembly looks like it could use some old-fashioned blowtorch work to secure it. Yeah, it sure does. That's what you think, Ratchet. Just keep your clamps off me. No more back talk, or I'll short your mouth circuit.
Sparkplug literally wants to light a fire under Ironhide's ass, which Ironhide declines that offer. The rest of the small team are plotting next steps. Prime charges Bumblebee with some spy work, and Spike joins because he can.
Yeah, that's the weird... Like, why does Spike go along? What value is he adding? Aren't we putting the human in unnecessary danger?
Well, you know, just like D is for danger, it runs in the
S
family.
is for sucker.
I think it speaks less to the Autobots. The Autobots don't know human culture. It speaks more to Sparkplug as a father letting Spike go out there and do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta go to fucking Kazakhstan to work in the oil mines or what he seems to go. He's been everywhere.
He works in every energy-related job. He probably worked at that solar factory that we
Absolutely.
saw earlier. Okay, so Shockwave. We're with the Decepticons now. Shockwave is prepping final steps to link Earth and Cybertron via the space bridge. They have 11 minutes to pull this thing off. I don't know why 11 minutes is what they picked as their...
They abandon this later, but like there's a time constraint.
3,000 something seconds. Space seconds.
Astros.
Astro seconds.
But that's I guess maybe it's for recharging.
I'm thinking that's
I mean,
gonna
they're
reset.
still in beta testing.
Spike and Bumblebee, let's rejoin them. They have no clue what they're doing. They don't know. They don't know where the Decepticons are or where to find them. But by sheer happenstance, they decide to drive by a riverbed. And what do you know?
Hey, there they are!
They decided to drive down in the riverbed to get some shade from driving in the desert.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
and then
Like you do.
and then the Decepticons.
Also, right here, we just... Starscream is counting down the seconds of the space bridge test on his watch, on his wrist, apparently.
I think that Starscream would be the type that would totally have like a watch. I think Starscream would have like a pocket watch too. Like
absolutely.
because he's a pompous.
He's a dandy.
Yeah, he's a dandy.
What Transformer would have a chain wallet?
A chain wallet.
Wheeljack.
Ironhide.
Wheeljack. I accept both of those answers. Okay, so Decepticons, they're testing the bridge. It's kind of a a donut-shaped, flat, panel-y instrument here, and leading up to it is a track, which, and at the start of that track is their test vehicle that they're going to use.
It's very Time Cop. I think Time Cop may have ripped this off, because Time Cop is the Van Damme classic 90s movie where he goes back in time. It has a sled like this where they travel into a vortex. Also, though, but like, why are you, first of all, on the test trip including Energon cubes? Like, don't do that. Like, maybe just send, like, I don't know, a potato.
Well, maybe they need to see how the Energon reacts.
I guess
through
that's
the process.
true. But to send one.
Nothing.
It seemed packed full of Energon pizza boxes.
So one thing I don't understand, okay, so the test is a failure. We see the big, I don't know what you'd call it, elevated platform go into the sky and open up on Cybertron, which receives whatever goes through the space bridge on Earth.
Yep.
And then the elevator door opens to reveal what came through. And what came through is nothing. But we saw a lot of, I mean, the test ship didn't go through there, but we saw a lot of rocks and shit get sucked up in there.
Well, you saw everything get sucked up, but when the space bridge on Cybertron opened up, nothing came into it. It did not make the transition.
You know what? I feel like maybe we get into that towards the end of the episode, because Megatron explains that you have to
pilot
steer along a ray of light, a beam of light.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
there was
disappear into oblivion.
There was no beam of light on this one. But the
because
time
there
that
was
he makes
no
it through,
pilot.
there was a beam.
Right.
Oh, yeah. There is an implication that there has to be like a intelligence involved in going across.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
Right.
It's only mentioned once. I like the comment that Starscream says after this.
What does he say?
He goes,
Your space bridge is worthless.
probably my favorite line in the whole.
He does talk some smack
Your
about the failure.
space bridge is worthless.
And
I love it.
that's where Megatron explains that the test vehicle needs a pilot, and that pilot is identified in the form of Spike and Bumblebee,
Throw him in there.
who somehow fell down that cliff.
So stupid. Well, I don't know how many times you drive forward and slide backwards into a ravine.
Yeah, it's problematic, and they tumble down the cliff, and they reveal that they've been spying. And then we go to commercial.
I get it. You can't be pressed for time in a cartoon for them to. Well, I guess you can. For them to chase him and bring him back. But, like, for him to drive forward and slide backwards down the hill is so stupid. Like, why not just have him see Bumblebee and then, like, Starscream flies up there and brings him back? Like, it's so dumb.
And also, why did he transform that? Well, he never goes forward and slides
so dumb.
backwards.
What a dumb
He just
maneuver.
it's as if he transformed with his back wheels already off the cliff a little bit.
Right.
It was pretty pitiful.
It's like you don't know your own body.
All right.
Explore yourself.
For an Autobot whose de facto purpose is reconnaissance, Bumblebee, a scout,
Rookie mistake.
he's not good. Well, and I guess to be fair, he doesn't know Earth terrain, but
I feel like they have rocky terrain on Cybertron, don't they?
No.
They do in the comic books.
Yes. It's like a mixture, but in the animated series, it's all completely metal.
All right, well,
we're
back from commercial.
I reiterate, I don't know why anybody likes Bumblebee.
well
I just know I put a note down with Spike getting captured. Of course, it's now that I think about it, it's his dad's fault. But if I was his dad, I would sue the Autobots so hard.
Get Johnny Cochran.
Yeah, but at this point though, they asked permission from the father, and he said, "Sure, go for it." So that hard hat doesn't have a leg to stand on.
To mix metaphors.
I wonder if the reason that Bumblebee got the opportunity to be teamed up with Spike so much, why they shifted gears on that, is maybe like Volkswagen started giving him some money or something.
Over Jeep?
I cannot imagine. Oh, yeah, there was a bidding war between Volkswagen and Jeep.
All right, well, they put Spike and Bumblebee into the test vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
The bridge malfunctions again, sending a whole load of nothing to Cybertron. And then at this point, Shockwave explains it's going to be 3,000 astroseconds. before they can test again, which Megatron finds intolerable, but not as intolerable as the voice animation error that accompanied that.
Yeah, I thought I noticed something weird. What was it?
They had Shockwave's voice over Megatron.
Yeah, Megatron's mouth is moving, but it's I think it's Soundwave's voice.
Soundwave's voice.
Oh, that's right.
Oh no, I thought it was Shockwave's.
Oh, let's hear
settle it.
Yeah, no, it is Shockwave's voice. Yes,
Shockwave's throwing his
Megatron's
voice.
mouth.
Test run number 2 aborted.
Maybe it was Megatron, he's like
imitating.
He's like, I really like Shockwave's voice. So I'm gonna start talking.
It's like whenever you spend a lot of time overseas, like in Britain, you start like jolly good.
Like like Madonna?
Mm-hmm.
She became British. I think that was sexually transferred.
From Guy Ritchie.
Isn't Guy Ritchie British?
He definitely has diseases.
Whoa!
Remember when Guy Ritchie was going to be the next Quentin
Tarantino? Yeah.
Fizzled.
That didn't pan out for him.
No, I think Madonna sucked the life out of him.
Well, he made a movie and put her in as the star, and it was great. It was
idea.
one of the worst movies ever made.
movie was that?
Never do that.
What was it called? It wasn't The Beach, but
was it called Forgettable?
It was set on a beach.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Beach.
That's exactly. You
Beach.
don't know.
Beach in it.
I've seen it, and I can't remember anything about it. as
It's
I'm
called
sitting
Beach
here.
Time.
Spike and Bumblebee, they ponder their options.
I wish our luck would change. Change? That's it! We're free! They're escaping!
The word change reminds Bumblebee
That he
his
can transform!
ability to change will help them get out of this situation. So he turns into a car, he bumble modes, crashes through the glass of the test pod, they drive off, and somehow Spike keeps up with him, by the way, for a little bit.
He runs like
speeds
Perceptor.
Well, he's
30
14.
miles an hour. And he's got that energy. He's got that
he's
spunky
in his prime.
adolescent
He's
energy.
running so fast.
And before
Go.
B
Oh.
can save him, Ravage shows up.
Doesn't even try to save. First of all, Bumblebee doesn't try to save.
No,
him. Doesn't let him in at
Stop,
all.
stop for a
He
second.
turns around. He goes just far enough so that he knows that if he turns around, he's like, I probably can't save him. But
All right, bye.
make a gesture. Yeah.
Ravage shows up. He impedes the escape. We go to actually what is a very cool chase sequence here. Fully animated backgrounds as we follow Bumblebee through the canyon, dogged by the Seekers. He hides in a cave. This part's a little silly. Where
Very silly.
He goes into a cave, then kind of goes out, gets shot up, and then backs back in.
Yeah, it's really
see ya. Boom.
like why animate that? What's the point? I don't understand. Maybe this cave goes somewhere.
He hides in the cave. He finds an exit up above, climbs up it, only to just get popped by Starscream and Skywarp.
Why does anybody like Bumblebee? Unclear.
He hasn't shown himself to add value yet, but he gets point blank popped by the null ray. Megatron shows up. This is fun. He opens his chest.
Oh, what is this weird tentacle thing?
And this elephant trunk thing suction tube protrudes from his chest,
strange.
latches onto Bumblebee's skull. Allegedly, Megatron is altering his memory so that he can help use Bumblebee to lead the Autobots into a trap.
He's just like a zombie. Like I
Right.
don't know.
I'm-
Hello.
It is true. I'm glad you paused it here. Oh, you didn't. You started again. But the part where we see the Autobots back at the Ark, they're on the far right there behind Prime is colored like Bumblebee, but I think it's supposed to be Cliffjumper.
Yeah, there is. This might be the beginnings or the start of. There's a character that I believe is called Bumper.
Bumper, yes.
But then there's also you'll hear the reference to the term Bumble Jumper.
Oh.
But there were toy versions of Cliff Jumper put out that were painted yellow. That was a real thing that happened. Okay, so we're back at the base. And B shows up right away. He explains that Spike's been captured
in a super stilted way.
And
like
he's
Caleb reference.
going to
Hey, go back to that previous scene real quick, just when they're all standing there. Is that Bumblebee standing there?
I just talked about this.
We're really good at paying attention to each other.
Sorry.
I said that
we talked about for 5 minutes.
Oh, I haven't been paying attention.
great.
What it inspired. You look. Here's the thing.
I know you're
really
looking at
good.
the screen.
You're really good at looking like you're paying
Oh, yeah.
attention
No,
because I thought you were all in on the conversation.
No, I just was.
I'll remember that
Holy bejesus.
every time I'm talking to you from now on.
His eyes just start.
Is he
One
really-
eye starts to
is he-
drift like Homer.
Is he really listening to me?
Yeah.
It's a miscolor. It's Cliff Jumper.
Okay.
Bumble jumper. Bumble.
Oh, okay. I remember. I came
Okay,
back,
great. You came in at the
I came back in at that
stupidest
point.
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. Bumblebee shows up and he says, "Hey guys, Spike's been captured and he's going to be sent to Cybertron in a space bridge. All good so far." But then Megatron's mind control takes over, and he awkwardly gives the Autobots a fake location. That's the part that's actually stilted.
Yeah.
So he's like, I don't remember what he says. They are at these coordinates.
What is the location of this bridge?
The bridge?
Yes?
The bridge is located in a cave 96.4 miles from the highway.
And Spike? Is he there too?
Yes, Spike is in the cave too.
Then there's...
And we know that because we get to see a bunch of purple dots around us. Oh, and here we have another Laserbeak head accessory.
And what is he doing? He's recording the audio? Or he's controlling, are we to believe he's controlling Bumblebee?
Sure.
Oh, that's a great point because it looks like an old school microphone, like Elvis style. But that maybe I didn't even put that together. Maybe that yes, he is transmitting what Bumblebee is supposed to say, and that's like 1335. Is what we're looking.
Laserbeak's been watching all this. He returns to the Decepticon base and relays the news of destruction.
Well, I'm not trying to be a filthy teenage boy, but like I don't like maybe just don't make Soundwave touch his crotch to play Laserbeak's findings.
That's just you. That's just.
I don't think it's just me. Like he's touching his dick.
Well, that's where his buttons are when he transforms.
I never even thought of that as a kid.
No.
Well, you weren't as horny as I was. Like,
I mean, I didn't think of
I had
jostling his junk around until I saw that.
That's true. No, I never
Would
thought
you
about
rather
it.
him start touching his forehead?
I
again?
never. That's great. No, good point. I mean, I never thought of it as a kid either, but as an adult watching it, I'm like, that's an adult animated this, and I'm like, it just seems like if I were making this now, I wouldn't have him touch his.
God, if you were making one of these now, it would be like the most X-rated thing ever.
No, I'm actually for as much as like the filthy jokes I make in real life, I'm a fairly like G-rated person.
Yeah, he is. I know what his search history looks like.
Well, I mean, it's mostly serial killers, but and cults.
That's true. It'll be serial killers, cults, and pornography. The FBI is on your ass.
Oh, I'm on so many watch lists. Absolutely. But I don't do Google searches for porn. I just go to X videos.
The Autobots arrive at a cave. And Prime is a bit skeptical, but Bumblebee's assuring them that, this is where the Decepticon activity happens, is going down.
This is where it is.
And so they walk in to a trap. Megatron, Soundwave, and the Seekers attack
Another trap?
immediately.
This is a weird sequence of like this whole fight in the cave is very strange. I don't know. It just strikes me as weird. Like, why are we doing it in a cave? I guess there is the thing of like now you're trapped, but like you're immediately not trapped later.
It doesn't end up being that much of an impediment.
Right.
Ever. Kind of a cool fight sequence, though.
It is.
All in all, we've got. First of all, we go to commercial and then come back from commercial.
Mm-hmm.
And when we come back, we see Jazz. He is going to return some laser fire back at Starscream. We've got Ratchet capturing Laserbeak with some kind of
the Pac-Man net.
Yeah,
that he shoots out.
Yeah. We've got Ironhide and Soundwave fighting each other. We've got Prime returning the favor from earlier, protecting Ironhide from Megatron's fusion cannon fire. And the whole Jazz, sorry if this is on screen, the Jazz baseball thing with
That is
Starscream's null ray is kind of weird.
We got Megatron with the wrist buzzsaw.
Yeah, well,
There's a lot of really random
Like a
capabilities
net, a weird
in here.
Pac-Man net thing just happened there.
Yeah, the Pac-Man net, the buzzsaws, they're just making it up. It is crazy. And it also, like, the fact that all these stalactites and stalagmites that have connected keep getting destroyed, I thought for sure was going to play into the collapse. Nope. No reason. It just is the thing they do.
Well, I guess stalagmites and stalactites that formed into columns.
There's probably
there's no structural integrity there.
They're not.
No, of course not. But that's why I was getting ready in my notes. I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna myth bust this."
Oh, gotcha. Prime, he's stuck in some rocks, and that's where.
That's
where the
buzzsaw comes in. And it's so dumb. It's so dumb. And like, what would a buzzsaw even do? Like to a robot?
It's gonna cut him in half, man.
It reminds me of now it's like the shootout. Talking about Silver Dollar City, Branson, Missouri.
Yeah, the flooded mine.
It used to be called the Flooded Mine. Now it's the Great American Shootout or something like that.
That's my favorite.
They still have that. They still have the buzzsaw part of it as the ride.
That is my favorite ride at Silver Dollar City, and I will post a video of that.
The old version or the new version?
They're all I mean, it's the same ride.
Well, it's the same ride, except
now you shoot at targets and get points.
Right.
Wasn't it always that way?
No, it didn't used to be.
What was it before?
Just riding through, looking at everything.
And it was like a prison escape.
Oh, I don't remember it being anything other than shooting.
The theme of it was like jail escape. Like
it's a prison. It's a mine where they use prisoners to mine this, and then there's some escaping going on. And the guns. There was not always a shoot 'em up in there.
Okay, maybe I do remember because didn't the cannon outside used to fire? And like there was
It still does though, I think.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
And there's like a water geyser that came out.
Yes, I do remember that.
That doesn't happen anymore.
It doesn't.
But that's my favorite ride because I just like the shooting. I like the video game.
I don't know
it's
if you've
a
been
live
there
action
recently.
video
I was
game.
there a couple of years ago. It doesn't work as well as it used to whenever they first
I was there last
released
year.
it. Yeah. How'd you feel about your score?
The guns are very it depends on what gun you get. They're
Sure.
real, like, changeable as to how accurate they are.
Right. Silver Dollar City. It's a staple of the Ozarks to the listeners who have no clue what we're talking about.
Silver Dollar City's old. It's like 1896. I think it's supposed to be.
It's Hillbilly Six Flags.
It's a theme. Yeah, it's a theme park that's got the shtick is that it's in pioneer days.
It's surprisingly fun. It's
I haven't been there in a long time, but we all loved it as a kid.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have good roller coasters.
It's not a half-ass enterprise.
No,
it's
not
executed
at all.
really well.
Correct.
It's just a little corny with it. It's all like hillbillies and pioneer blacksmiths. And
I prefer it over like Six Flags just because I like the shop setup better.
Oh yeah, there's some really great shops. There's some really great food actually that you can get there, and then also like they have the train ride where there's that fake like hijacking of the train.
Yeah.
That's fun.
People love to go there around Christmas time.
Yep,
That's
a
string
big
the
thing.
entire joint up with lights and they go crazy.
Do you think we should do a whole episode just about Silver Dollar City?
I think we should do a whole extended series
I
about
agree.
Silver Dollar City.
We could
All the
go
legends and
do,
myths that are buried in the park.
Supposedly somebody got decapitated on the
Fire in the hole.
fire in the hole.
I wonder if that did really happen.
I don't know.
I don't think it's.
We'll follow
I think
up on that.
bullshit.
All right. I'm going to follow
Go
up
to
on
Silver
it
Dollar
later.
City, everybody.
And Google Silver Dollar City, fire in the hole, decapitation. Tell us what you get.
You do it.
Where the fuck is happening?
We're in the mine. I was just saying that it didn't collapse, and that's what made me think of the flooded mine.
This mine did not collapse, everybody.
The cave,
and,
I mean.
And,
Oh yeah,
and it's a
Megatron
cave.
pulls like a weird gun out of his hand.
And why? For what reason?
You have a better gun.
It's right there on your arm. It's big. Shockwave gets in touch with Megatron, and he's like, "It's space bridge time." And
Excellent. We'll be there.
they abandon the fight. They head back to the riverbed, but not before Megatron transforms into gun mode again
Mhm.
and has Starscream blast the cave closed.
I will say, if you want to make a drinking game out of Transformers, every time one of the categories should be every time Megatron says "excellent,"
like it.
because he says it a lot.
I think every time they have some like random ability is another.
Ooh, well, that's gonna play. You're gonna be
We'd be
hammered,
hammered
if you
off
watch
this-
the
after
first
this
3
scene.
episodes.
Well, this scene right here. is-
Absolutely.
There's like 5 different rando abilities that come up out of nowhere.
Shockwave says the space bridge will be open for 4 minutes. I did the math into breams. That's 0.48 breams.
I'm really glad you did that.
Thank you.
So here's a reverse situation from what we've been talking about in the past. The Decepticons close up this cave and just assume the Autobots
Are dead.
are done for, and but yet they're obviously not. They get out extremely easily. Everybody regroups in the cave. They're recovering from the dust up. Ratchet discovers Bumblebee's been slipped a robotic roofie. And he reveals that the riverbed is the actual location of the space bridge. The Autobots easily blast their way out of the cave and head towards the riverbed.
I remember now.
Yeah. That's so dumb. The rocks just fall inwards.
It is weird. They fall inwards,
and all of it's just...
which is not how it
it's
works at all, but
just
yeah.
Whatever, yeah.
Back at the bridge, 4 minutes. That's all we've got to use the bridge. Spike is loaded in the pod. This is where Megatron explains that Spike is going to be riding on a beam of light. He must concentrate on the beam, or he'll fly off into the cold, dark void, ceasing to exist, which sounds more like a meditation or hypnotization routine than, how you're going to make this space bridge work. But, we commence this transport activity, except the Autobots arrive and attack. And
the animation, like right here where we are at
Spike's face at about 19 minutes and 30 seconds in
is very pinched
distorted.
and weird.
He, it's distorted. He also has like some sort of elfish wrestler's ear.
He does have a cauliflower ear
going
Yes.
on.
and Megatron is missing part of his insignia on his chest. So animation errors all around.
Listen,
That was the B team doing those frames.
you can't be perfect all the time.
And that's what I will tell my daughter, Samara.
So here, and another weird animation
You
error.
guys see that by the door?
What
above the door?
the door to the space bridge opens up, but what ends up happening is the back wall of the space bridge is overlapping the
it's so
sides of
weird.
the
It's like an
entrance.
optical illusion.
In a way, there's some real MC Escher shit
It
going
is,
on here.
yes.
Megatron's eyes are blue for some reason as well. We could honestly spend all day talking about animation errors.
Well, yeah, we have some star screams littering up the place in a second, too, because the Seekers must have been hell on the colorists to do. Like, that's really understandable that the Seekers are miscolored a lot of times.
I'm guessing that, language barriers and giving direction and, right? I'm assuming that's the cause. Or laziness. Trying to get something done fast and as cheap as
just
possible.
gotta get it done.
Sure.
This sequence is a little bit questionable to me. Bumblebee volunteers to get Spike out of there. Prime offers to help, and what he does... Well, hang on a minute. Let me back up. We didn't even cover the Ironhide just pulls out a bazooka and he's like, I'll stop him from sending...
I'll just explode the whole vehicle.
He just blows the shuttle up. Yeah.
And Sparkplug's just horrified.
Hey. My kid's in there.
But so that happens. Then Bumblebee volunteers to get Spike out of there, and Prime's like, "I'll help." But he kind of does what Ironhide does. He just fires 3 shots.
Well, this is one of the rare times we see Prime, like, he has an adjustable nozzle on his rifle.
So he fine tunes it. I get
to a sniper rifle.
to sniper, and I guess a more weak power.
Yeah.
And anyway, he pops 3 shots, very accurate. One pops
on a
the
moving
top,
vehicle.
One pops the top of the pod.
Yeah.
I'm spitting.
One shoots.
One gets one strap of
the
seatbelt, and one hits the other strap of the seatbelt. Spike jumps
shoots
off.
across Spike's face
Yeah.
to hit the other.
I don't know that he had the shot to pull this off. Personally, you would need to be on the other side of the
It's
space
impossible.
bridge
It's
to
just-
really do this.
They're really playing fast and loose with logic here.
Whatever. By the way, animated backgrounds. Love it when that
Great.
happens.
Great.
But Spike is saved by Bumblebee, who's just hanging onto the hood. The pod veers off the track and just tumbles into the walls of the space bridge.
Megatron's like, "Oh, take care of it."
At this point, he realizes shit's going bad. He races to the cube to get the cubes into the bridge before it closes. He gets blasted by the collective power of the Autobot forces.
At this point, he starts to swirl around like what? Like the gravitron.
There he goes.
And he gets sucked into the sky.
There's the 2 Starscreams.
Primus knows where. They're
Starscream and his armada.
So it turns out that Cyclonus and his armada really
Yes.
Starscream the whole time. Yeah, we're at paused at 2107. There are 2 Starscreams standing right by each other, and at close up too. It's not even a far away.
No, and
far away
it
one.
happened in the scene previous where the same error occurred.
So Starscream, he knows an opportunity when he sees it. He assumes the mantle of leadership and commands the crew to get the fuck out of there. And the Autobots celebrate Megatron's death. Although,
Finally, we have an Autobot victory.
Question mark?
In quotes.
I'm paused at 2126. We have that same angle that we were talking about in the More Than Meets the Eye, but it's drawn actually a little bit more detailed and
it's a little different. Yeah,
it's a little different, but it's still it's an exciting angle. Prime, I just am now realizing has this like solid blue taint going on.
Yeah, that's his dick.
Oh,
His Smurf dick.
Does it come out when he's
in my fan
feeling
fiction?
Randy.
A lot of dick talk I've been doing. Sorry.
Prime, however, while the Autobots are celebrating Megatron's death, Prime doesn't quite buy it. And for good reason, because as we see, Megatron himself emerges on Cybertron. He's alive, well, and yearning for vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where this episode ends.
Just watching it.
Megatron! Oh, I wish they would have hugged.
They don't hug.
I know, but it would have.
Shockwave's-
Like, Shockwave just seems so like,
At
I
least-
need contact.
At least a fist bump? It's been 4 million
Or a
years.
handshake, anything? No.
Megatron reaches for a handshake, but it's the wrong hand, and he shakes.
Shakes his gun?
Shockwave, you should play when he talks there. He sounds super bummed out that he somehow let Megatron down. Like, play it real quick.
Okay.
He's like, just play it. You'll see what I mean.
Megatron, what happened?
The Autobots robbed me of my victory.
Yeah, he does sound bummed. What happened?
Oh, by the way, how you doing? It's been 4 million years. That's Shockwave. Shockwave's, there's no time for like...
He's very, he's like the least selfish person that's ever existed.
I'm sure his annual reviews are always the same. Always the same. He always...
No matter how hard he tries, he meets expectations.
Yeah, well, he meets expectations.
I feel like he's been pounded into submission.
Yeah.
Nobody gets a 5.
No one gets a 5. I think he would exceed on building that space ramp, but otherwise he's just doing his... Yeah.
Guys, can I tell you something?
What is it called?
Space Bridge?
Okay, yeah.
Can I tell you something, guys?
What?
Sure.
I get 5s.
You do?
Hell yeah.
I got 2 3s and 2 4s yesterday.
Oh, you just got a review?
Yeah, yesterday.
2 3s and 2 4s? That's pretty good.
They don't give 5s in my company.
Which is like, that is infuriating to me of like, well, then that category shouldn't exist.
The 5s?
Yeah.
Right.
If you're like openly, I don't get 5s, then it's like,
you guys don't know what it's like to be transcendent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're a business god.
Just like I am Captain Dance.
Can we put that gif of you dancing in the cape?
I think you should.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I give it to you guys to do with it what you will.
All right, tropes. A couple things I wanted to call out. This is the first time. I think it's the first time. I don't think we saw it in More Than Meets the Eye, but I think you do see it a lot, where you've got the Transformer. Most usually, the Decepticon is in their hidden mode, and usually it's Soundwave, and it's hey, this is just a regular thing X, and then it's like, oh my god, what the hell? A thing, a robot?
Well, they are in disguise.
Yeah.
It's on brand.
It's the tagline.
Yeah.
I don't know. Definitely lots of. We already covered it, but lots of mechanisms that they have, bonus mechanisms.
That will start to drop off pretty quickly.
Does it? Okay.
Good.
All right. Ryan, how far ahead have you been watching?
I haven't watched ahead. I just remember. I know I had SOS Dinobots and Roll For It, which I think Roll For It is our next episode on VHS, and I think at that point the special features just kind of fall away.
Gotcha. So hey, well, let's get into the
Script deviations.
Up top, Ironhide does say all systems ready for tomorrow's launch to Cybertron in the original script. So in the original script, they did address that they were going to Cybertron, and then Prime says, "At last, we can return home." In both the first scene with the Autobots and Decepticons, they talk about being unsure whether Cybertron even still exists, which is completely reasonable.
Right.
Because it's been 4 million years. And it's a reasonable cut for simplicity. Shockwave states that the planet Cybertron...
Did you say simplicity?
Shockwave states that Cybertron remains secure of Autobot forces to Megatron. They keep spelling Jazz's name with 3 Z's at the end.
I love it.
That's probably trademarkable. Maybe Jazz with no 2 Z's.
Oh, that's a great point.
I don't know.
Maybe so.
There are a lot of probably good examples of cutting dialogue down and simplifying it, like when Ratchet and Sparkplug are working on Ironhide, Sparkplug says, that rear-end assembly looks like it could use some old-fashioned blowtorch work to secure it.
Yeah.
And Ratchet's original line is, "Good idea, Sparkplug. That's exactly what we'll do." Which becomes, "Yep, sure does." That's it.
What is Sparkplug's fascination with Ironhide's ass?
He's a jack of all trades. He knows all about mechanics.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's all the script deviations.
How do you guys feel about the scheme? I feel like there's a potential for a segment about rating the scheme. Like, how would you rate this? I mean, we almost. You only have the context of the prior episodes.
The Decepticons scheme?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the same scheme every time, though.
There's variations.
Like in Roll For It, I think, which is the next one, I think it's just another dam.
Oh, great. This is going to get monotonous really quickly.
I would say that the space bridge is a really
That's an 8 out of 10
It's
for
a
me.
scheme that lasts. It's a lasting scheme.
I will give it an 8. Yes, I will give it. It's going to rank high. We'll just have to see. I like that segment. We'll just have to see how it develops as we get more schemes. I do like it.
Some schemes are going to be stupid, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Love it.
So I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10.
Schemes and fleams, schemes and fleams, schemes and fleams.
Sometimes what you think is a scheme is really a fleam, but then turns out to be a scheme the whole time. Things can get tough out there for business owners and for journalists.
We reference Mr. Show almost every episode.
Yep, it's a good show.
It is.
Did you guys ever watch the update, the With Bob and Davids that were on Netflix?
Yeah.
I thought they were great.
Absolutely.
I thought they picked up from the vibe of Mr. Show very well.
I liked it a lot.
Go watch that on Netflix, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
With Bob and David.
Listen to My Favorite Murder with Karen Kilgareth and Georgia Hardstark.
I'm totally addicted to that podcast right now.
Oh, I haven't even listened to it. What's up with it?
It's basically like about Karen Kilgareth from Mr. Show.
Mm-hmm. Which one was she?
She is the
OU men.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
But she and Georgia Hardstark, they do. It's basically like every episode is each one of them does a murder.
You mean they commit a murder?
Yes, they commit a murder, and then each one of them talks about a murder that was interesting to them, and then they explain to the other one. And I recommend episode. I think it's 18.
Mm-hmm.
That is like. I always forget her name, but it is amazing about this woman who survived being attacked by this murderer, and she's my hero.
While we're shouting out podcasts, I started listening to Unfunny Nerd Tangent, which is one of the our friend Greg from Australia is a participant in that, and so that's been really cool. I've been listening to some back episodes. I was interested in their take on Game of Thrones, the ending. I'm still stuck on how I feel about it. I don't think it was as bad as the world thinks it was bad, but you know what?
I've let it go.
You got to wrap it up. I know that's not necessarily pop culture at this point, but it's not a new episode of theirs either. But normally our shoutouts happen at the beginning of the episode.
It's true. Should we do our?
Okay, we can. I'm the ghost of the iconic moment. Caleb, what do you got?
Iconic moment. I love Shockwave walking around like he just got out of bed.
That's true. He's
That's
back.
pretty fun.
No.
He's just stumbling.
Well, he's not stumbling. He's just walking with his shoulders hunched forward and his arms to his side, and he's kind of leaning forward. It's great. I could watch that all day. I could watch a whole episode of him walking by himself, all alone in his whatever that is, just looking out the window and then walking around. Yeah, I love it.
It's like he's got a face a day at a job he hates, a family that doesn't respect him.
There's no one.
There's no hope, no opportunity.
I mean, maybe there is, but it's been 4 million years.
So he doesn't recognize it.
I don't know.
He needs
I don't know.
Prozac or whatever the Cybertronian equivalent is.
Yeah. That's
Ryan.
Sorry.
Basically, just the appearance of the space bridge
That's
because
what I
it plays so heavily later.
I put that as well, specifically Megatron getting sucked into it for a brief period of time. Starscream thinks he's actually in command.
I still think it'd be funny if it sucks up all that rubble. Like when they open the door, that's like
I know there should be rocks
rubble
and shit coming out.
But the rocks aren't riding that laser wave beam of light.
I guess it's true.
It's not.
They're just getting lost into the abyss of space, I assume.
Yeah.
So if Megatron seemed to know that, why were they trying to send unmanned craft in there to begin with?
Yeah.
Well,
But
was
that
the
unmanned
first
craft
test.
didn't even
Now they
like
know.
make it into the hole. Like that pod just went up in the air and then fell right down.
Or it became disintegrated.
No, it fell to the ground.
Did it?
Yeah.
No.
No, you see it in the animation.
No.
No.
You see it crash in the end, but the first one, you don't see it at all.
Yeah.
Like the first time, it doesn't fall back down.
Yes, it does.
No.
Yes, it does.
Let's see. I need to know.
Show me the money. Oh, you're
Oh
right.
my
It does
God.
fall down. I didn't even see it.
Yeah, it didn't even make it through the hole.
Now you know about that.
Well, that's all. That's ridiculous.
That is quite
worse.
ridiculous.
That's worse.
Shockwave didn't even need to open the elevator.
No.
Megatron would be like, it didn't work.
It fell back down. It's a real blink and you'll miss it. Like
I
it
guess-
falls behind the debris.
I
down,
guess
yeah.
that I guess in retrospect they had to leave it unless they had
They could have built another one.
Well, they could have built another one. They've built everything
Fast.
so well. Yes. So
They don't even have the Constructicons yet.
bring the other pod.
I can't wait till the Constructicons get here. Oh.
What else? Do we have any other douche? Is this our American Top 40?
What do we call it? What do we call this
you named it.
segment?
It's like in the real world.
In the real world.
In the real world. Obviously, this was happening at a time and place in 1984, October 6th, some might say. What was happening?
You should say.
You should
that
say,
was when it
because
happened,
that's-
October 6th, 1984.
What do you guys think was happening in the real world at that time?
We were in kindergarten. I had Mrs. Feldman.
I was in
I had
Utah.
Mrs. Feldman
A
as well.
suburb
Were we
of
in
Salt Lake
kindergarten
City.
together?
I guess so. We were also in Miss Saffel's first grade class together.
Have we told the story about how I hid behind girls?
Let's save that.
Why are we saving it? Let's talk.
I want to
Because Caleb's trying to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, it's not a long story. I pushed you down, and you got a Band-Aid, and you
We
came
got
out
3 Band-Aids.
well,
That's a serious push.
Yeah, and then I walked back outside, and there was recess was still going on because I guess in the past, like recesses were
it was like 3 hours.
3 hours long. And I look over, and there was like a group of girls standing next to a brick wall, and you were hiding. And you were hiding behind, and I was like, "Where's Ryan?" And you were clearly standing behind all the girls hiding. But then, like, what was I gonna do?
Do you remember this?
Yeah,
Yeah, but what was I gonna do? Like, was I gonna like?
I know. Beat me up.
beat you
What was
by-
gonna happen?
yeah,
nothing happened.
I just called you out on hiding behind girls, and that's
You're
about it.
dumb.
Yeah. But I have a scar. I have a scar that I've had ever since then. Like it was me and him and Wes Piney, and we were like just shoving there was like nothing to. We were like that was our decision. That recess was just to kind of push each other down there was no reason to. And
This was also back in the time whenever the playgrounds were like cement and gravel.
yeah, I think I actually literally there's like a piece of broken glass on the ground that I cut my elbow on or something. But yeah, it was actually the best.
So you pushed him. It was obvious he was injured, and you just took
I
off
ran
running.
away.
And it was not probably not a big deal at all. But you're in first grade and
There you go.
things seem bigger than they
I've
really
always
are.
been a coward.
You're kind of like Starscreen. You gave this like dramatic act
I
of
know.
aggression.
I acted
and
big, and then
you were
just
well,
immediately walking
it's
back.
like to Caleb right before you did it. You were like, I should be the leader.
It's one of those things where you're like you're a young kid and you're like pushing each other around, and then actually something happens.
Something
and
happens, you're like,
oh
oh,
my
no.
god! And that's pretty much.
I
what
have to
happens.
escape.
It's real life.
So that was what I was doing. I guess I was getting ready for Halloween at that point. But
So on the American Top 40,
Moving from number 5 to number 2 in our countdown, the number 1 song in Britain this week, Stevie Wonder, and I Just Called to Say I Love You. Now on American Top 40, we're up to the number 1 song in the USA. It's from the album that's also at number 1 this week, the soundtrack album from the movie Purple Rain. A previous single release from that album has already hit number 1, When Doves Cry. And this song from that very same album hit number 1 last week. Here's Prince and his band The Revolution, making a habit at being number 1 with the song that tops the chart again this week, Let's Go Crazy.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called...
which that movie Purple Rain had come out earlier in the summer and was number 1 at the box office in July.
We talked about our dance party at the last episode, and I was completely shocked to discover that you'd never heard the Prince song Controversy before.
Yeah, it's a terrible
There's
song.
a lot of
Get the fuck out of
there's
here!
there's
It's so unlistenable.
there's
It
a,
is. Oh my
Well,
God, you are
First of
ignorant,
all,
man.
I will say that there's probably a lot of people that haven't heard the song Controversy, but
Really?
also I will also say that it is not a terrible song. It's a really good song. However, if you
It's-
don't like
it was a single.
if you don't like it, that's fine.
Well, also that's why I asked you, Caleb, last night about whether like certain songs were in minor or major key, because that song, there are just some songs where I'm like, well, this is just boring, and I think it's because
Controversy
songs
has a
are
great hook, though.
minor
The
key.
hook
I
on
noticed
Controversy
at
is
the
great.
party last night for Ryan, if he was exposed to a song that he had never heard before, there was no dancing. Like I don't care how good the song was. If it was a song that Ryan had never heard before, didn't dance. Because he would keep saying over and over again, I've never heard this song before.
What do you even keep saying?
I've never heard this
I
song
don't
before.
know.
And you're just
if this
standing
is
there.
accurate.
Yeah, I've never heard this song before.
Just-
saying it like that in a way like, oh, I've never heard this song before. And then you just not dance.
Did you
Like-
all dance to that Tony Braxton?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, Tony Braxton is like the unofficial touchstone of this podcast.
Yeah,
We talk
he's
about it
heard
all the
that
time.
song before.
Right. I didn't know if he dipped out. I couldn't remember. I was in my own place when that video
You
comes
disappeared
on,
for like.
I did.
Yeah. It was just, for a long time, it was just West and I down here dancing by ourselves.
Oh, when I was making a drink for Wes that she didn't drink.
Oh, well.
I spent about an hour and a half making simple syrup with ginger infused into it so I could make mocktails for West and my wife Melody, who do not drink right now.
Mhm.
And by the by the time the simple syrup was perfected, I made a mocktail at the end of the night for them, and neither of them drank it.
I made garbage. Extremely complicated thing that nobody wanted.
I love to put in lots of effort for no return.
Kind of like this podcast.
This
Speaking of
podcast
which,
is the perfect metaphor for my life.
the number 1 movie on October 6, 1984 weekend was Teachers, which I had never heard of.
No, I never have.
Teachers is a 1984 American satirical comedy drama directed. It basically stars Nick Nolte, Joe Buff Williams, and Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
Sounds crazy. Alex Jarrell is a veteran social studies teacher who takes his job lightly despite being one of the most popular teachers in school because of his ability to identify and connect with the students. Jarrell has been worn down by years of being in between the rowdy students and the demands of the administration. He's assigned to temporarily take over the duties of the school psychologist and meets a young man named Eddie Pelican.
Pelican.
to whom he becomes a mentor. During this time, a romance develops between Jarrell and Hammond, his former student. Other subplots include a wandering mental institution outpatient mistaken for a substitute teacher.
That does sound funny, actually.
This sounds... I have to watch this movie. And then there's Eddie's best
Who's
friend
number
Danny,
one?
a schizophrenic and kleptomaniac student who was shot and killed by the police after he draws a gun from his locker during a drug search.
That also sounds really funny.
It was number one for 3 weeks. Made $27 million out of a $9 million budget.
Wow. Nope, never heard of it.
Yeah. Moving to TV, on the cover of TV Guide was Nicolette Sheridan, Terry Farrell, and Morgan Fairchild of Paper Dolls.
Morgan Fairchild, a G.I. Joe character, one of my favorites.
Callback. Well, that was the show that was set in Manhattan, a witty primetime serial focused on the cutthroat world of modeling cosmetic. I don't remember. That's another show I don't remember at all. Here's some trivia. It was the season 10 premiere of SNL.
Okay. Who was the cast on that?
There was no host.
Okay.
The cast was like
Joe Piscopo.
Yes, he was one, and
that weird era.
Yeah, it was kind of in the downtime.
Was Lorne Michaels on the outs at that point?
He might have been.
There was
actually.
a period where he went involved, and it was
Billy Crystal,
Jim Belushi, Billy Crystal, Mary
Christopher
Gross,
Guest.
Chris Guest. I forgot he was on there. Rich Hall, Gary.
Harry
Martin
Shearer.
Short did that. I must say, guy.
Harry Shearer, Juliet Lee.
I gotta say, I don't love Martin Short. He's my least favorite.
Well, what about
do like him.
Inner Space?
I've never seen Inner Space.
I like some of the sketches that he's done. There's parts of him that I really appreciate, and he's really quick on the draw at improv.
I think he's gifted. I just don't laugh at it.
I will say this:
it's too silly for me.
I would not be
But I like
upset
silly
if he were replaced by any given actor. In anything he's in.
So, Three Amigos. You got Chevy Chase. You've got Steve Martin. Who do you want to replace Martin Short with?
Charles Durning.
Okay.
Okay, let's wrap this up.
This is very interesting.
To wrap up the trivia, issue number 1 of the Highland Lakes Newsette came out on October 6, 1984.
Really?
Which is a periodical from Highland Lakes, New Jersey. It was their 50th anniversary. It's a private lakeside community of 4,933.
You were digging deep, weren't you?
I was. I did this for like 3 hours at work the other day. It did no work. Do you want to guess what the percentage of white people is there?
I would say
98.
I'm going to say 100%.
You're real close. It's 96.5.
Hey, that's my temperature right now.
They pay dues as part of the Highland Lakes Country Club, and that was the I'll put the PDF of that issue up.
Oh yeah, I want to read it.
It's pretty amazing.
Today on the tennis court,
It is like that.
AstroTurf was a little bumpy.
The Chadwick area news is really good. I'm getting off topic. Well,
No, you're not.
The Chadwick, that's
precisely
a local town
on
here.
topic.
Chadwick area news is great. Like if you real quick Google Chadwick area news, and there's a lady that writes a column, and I've sent you stuff like this before, but you guys don't pay attention to
What?
it.
Mary declutters.
Yep. It was good to get a call from my friend Patty. This is the Chadwick area news.
So the city of Chadwick, Missouri. I'm assuming it's not a suburb of Springfield. It's
it's its own little town down in the state forest.
So it's not part of the metro area?
Gotcha.
Nah, I don't know, but the
population probably in the single thousands.
Oh, there's less than 1,000 people in
Okay,
Chadwick.
gotcha.
You never been to Chadwick?
You've never been?
All right.
You must go.
So it's out past Sparta.
I'll wait for the Apple Blossom Festival or whatever bullshit thing they have.
Yeah.
Acorn season.
But she just writes about her own life, but that's the contributing column.
I made a trip to the ranch Wednesday to see the kids and grandkids. Traylon had a different experience on Monday. She had gone with her dad to check cows the evening before and got lots of seed ticks.
A quick shower got rid of most of them. Her eye was hurting the next morning. They took her to the doctor and found that a seed tick landed in her eye. The eye was numbed and tweezers were used to take out the tick. This was the only second. This was only the second time the doctor had to do this procedure in their career.
Oh my God, Country Life.
I
This
love
makes
it.
me think of Doc Hollywood.
I love reading this column when it comes out.
This does sound amazing.
Have you? This reminds me of. Okay, first of all, there was a thing a few years ago where some highfalutin New York food critic had decimated the fact that a Guy Fieri
Guy Fieri.
Huh?
Guy Fieri.
That's how it's pronounced?
It's pronounced Fieri.
Oh wow!
Guy Fieri, a Flavor Town had opened up in Times Square.
Yep.
And, there's a very famous review of the guy just tearing it apart.
I remember this.
Obviously, it's not going to be a great restaurant, but the guy is definitely really trying to score some heavy points. So anyway, I feel like that guy's review is despicable for a lot of reasons.
Sure.
But then a thing went viral maybe about 6 years ago of a lady who wrote restaurant reviews for her small town newspaper similar to this, and she reviewed an Olive Garden.
Oh my God!
and it is the most heartwarming thing you'll ever read in your entire life. And she's like she gave the local Olive Garden a very favorable review.
That is adorable.
And it was just like so sweet. And it was like, now see this. Like,
Did you know you get unlimited breadsticks and salad?
And they're very good. The butter and the garlic is perfectly applied.
I will say Olive Garden salad is delicious.
I enjoy it.
You put a lot of that tangy vinegar on there.
I'll fucking eat it all day long.
Oh, jeez. All right, well, let's wrap it up. Thanks, everybody.
This has been your moment in restaurant reviews and just rambly shit.
And small town history.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't pumped up the APDC store in a while. It exists. Products are available for purchase. Feel free to go check out our posters, our pins. I swear to Jesus Almighty that new products
We'll have to have some by
impending.
October. Guess we're going to be in TFCon in DC.
Yes.
In our nation's capital. That was supposed to be
Was that a
Forrest Gump.
Trump impression?
No, it was supposed to be Forrest Gump. Forrest Trump. Make that meme
That's
happen.
funny.
Anyway, shop, go out, buy stuff, and obviously continue to listen if you found this enjoyable at all. Apple Podcasts,
5
Stitcher,
stars,
Google Play,
please.
tune in. Leave one of them reviews and look us up on our social media. We love interacting and having fun on the social med.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Yep.
At Autopod Decepticast, web presence, autopoddecepticast.com. What are you gonna put up there, Ryan?
Oh, there's going to be. I'm going to put the PDF of the Highlands News Newsette up there.
Definitely a link to the
Chadwick
CC
Anus.
headliner.
Chadwick
Absolutely, read it every day.
All right, peep the shop, check the merch, buy something.
Come see us in DC.
Yeah,
How
shake
was-
our hands.
Please.
How was this episode, Aaron?
You don't have to ask me.
Because I know.
It is mediocre.
Bye.
All right, good job, guys.
Cybertron!
2209. I'll put that address on our podcast page and tweet it out when this episode drops. Several of our other podcast friends talked about it this week too. Mike Cyber Radio, Transmissions, and the Bill Burr Martin Experience. This was just such a sweet story about a little kid who's had this horrible time health-wise, and I don't know, maybe we can all just do something to make another young Transformer fan's 4th birthday forever memorable. I mean, this kid's favorite toy, like so many of ours, as kids and today, is Transformers. So, like, I just imagine how amazing it would have been to have something like this happen for your birthday. And now with, like, the reach of the internet and our podcasts and social media platforms that we all have, we have the ability to bring so many people together who love this single thing, which is presumably why you're listening, and we can just share the love. So if you're interested, Whitaker's birthday is September 11th again, and there's still time to get a new toy and send it, or even just wish him a happy birthday. And for anyone in the Alexandria area, one more time with a yellow car who wants to help, be at the corner of Woodbine and Crest Street in Alexandria before 7 a.m. on September 11th. Thanks, everybody. All right, pistols at dawn.
Bro Cells is the sponsor of Autopod Decepticast. Yes, 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 yes.